started.
Okay, we do some kind of introduction. So my name is Prince, student at SIAMC, International Business, School of Business and Culture. And my colleague here is...
My name is Mithun Munshi. I'm from Bangladesh. I study international business at University of
Applied
Applied Sciences.
I'm Mark Wiltshire from Xport, one of the co-founders of the company and one of 3 full-time workers here at the company. So we started Xport 5 years ago because we thought there was a need amongst companies here in Etelä-Pohjanmaa. There's a lot of manufacturing here. When we looked at some statistics when we started, and Etelä-Pohjanmaa was kind of in the top 10 of the regions of Finland for manufacturing, but it was all out of about 20. But it was almost at the bottom when it came to exporting.
Yes.
So we thought, okay, there's a lot of manufacturing, but not much exporting. Maybe we can help
bridge
improve
the gap.
Yeah.
The gap, yeah.
What's happening is a lot of manufacturing here is being sold within
Just
Finland.
within Finland,
Yeah, or it's being bought by companies who are then exporting it as part of something else. So it is going out of the country, but it's not being recorded as exports from here. So that was our model, that was our idea. And the model is to be more than just consultants. So instead of going into a company, looking at how they do their business and then telling them this is what you need to do to improve, we think of ourselves more as providing missing resources that a company needs to be able to improve. Yeah. So the point of our company is to help Finnish companies become more international and grow their export sales. That's kind of the short explanation. And the way we do that is a mixture of hands-on work and training. Whatever each individual company wants. So we meet with a company, we sit down.
Kind of mostly sensitizing the company, like you can actually export your products.
There's partly that. I think what we've been trying to do now for 5 years is to make companies realize that they don't have to do it on their own. That if they like the sort of reasons that people think they can't export is they have no experience.
Yes.
They don't have time. They think it's expensive, or they don't have enough people to really concentrate. And maybe they think, if I employ someone and it doesn't work, then I've got this employee, and it's difficult to get rid of employees if you need to in that situation. So we think that by working with us, we can come in, provide those missing resources that they need, and we've had quite a few companies that we've worked with when they start this process, and then after a year or so, they hire someone to do this work and continue it. I think that's success. Maybe we stop working with that company, but we've proven to them that they have a need to export, and that's a positive thing. And then we hope that in the future, if they need help with going to another country, or if they need help, they have an export manager that needs some advice, then they come back to us. But they see us as a kind of reliable partner for them.
Okay. But in the cost of providing these services to the companies here in Finland, is there any means of you helping the company to get any kind of document?
We've done 1 or 2. I mentioned before that we do training. So among that training, we've had a few customers that have asked us to give some training to their team on the exporting process. How do they register that they have a delivery that needs to go? How do they get the documentation they need? We've done that a couple of times. We've also worked with a company that is trying to get their products approved for sale in China.
Yes.
And now we're not anywhere near the stage of export documents at the moment, we're at the stage of these are the country standards that your products and your company has to achieve before you can think about being approved to sell to China. So it's much earlier in the stage, but that documentation is, I mean, it's a really complicated process. Atria, the meat
with Atria.
Yeah,
okay.
well, no, we're not working with them, but as an example,
yeah,
they started this process, and it took them 10 years before their products and their company was approved to sell in China.
Wow.
And this other company that we're talking with, they're tiny. They're a food producer. When we started working with them, they had their products in like 30 stores in Finland, and their first export target was China, which is just it's incredible. And if they manage to make it work, it's going to be great for them. So, but no, not really the actual filling in of
the
documents. Yeah.
Documents. Okay. Because I wanted to ask this question that, like for me, looking at after next year, after my graduation, I'm thinking of registering a company here in Finland to be exporting auto parts to Nigeria.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was thinking, if you were in this business, you would know like what documentation, which offices I need to visit in order to get my containers approved.
Yeah.
So that they can go out of Finland.
I know there's another guy. I've heard of another guy who's doing something similar.
Okay.
And what I heard, I don't know this person. I don't even remember his name.
Okay.
But that he was also buying old cars and then filling the old cars with electronics and things, and then exporting the whole thing. So the car was the container for the electronics. So it's seems like a similar
that's
idea.
actually that's the kind of idea I have. Like you can get the old cars, the ones that are not roadworthy, then get the engines off because the engines are maybe still good. We can put them in one car, use one car like a container, then export it. But at least you need to have some kind of approval. You need to have a company to be able to operate. So,
yeah, I don't know. Personally, I don't know. I can't.
Okay. Anyway, it's not in the jurisdiction of your company.
No, I mean the kind of work that we do.
Yeah.
So if you think of a company that's just starting to think about exporting, we have this short analysis that we do. So it's like a questionnaire where they answer a series of questions, and it helps us understand the areas of their business that they need help in. Okay. We then do market research to help them understand their target markets. And there's two types that we do. One is where we look at several different countries and help them understand which one might be the right one.
The best market,
Or it's something that's much more focused on one market, and in that we try and find the route to market. So what's the best way for them to get their products selling there? Are there any industry organizations that can maybe help them?
Yeah, that can, like, if they have some kind of intermediary, because that's what I'm thinking also. I tried to make some inquiries to know if there are some intermediaries, like if I buy, I send through them, they can do their custom clearance and everything. So those are the kind of thing I think I would need. But be it as may.
The most important part of that research we found is that the customers want a nice long list of potential customers. So it's okay. It's not market research where you just get all this kind of country data, but it's actually, hey, here's a list of potential customers.
Okay.
And then the next step on from that is to actually spend some time contacting these people, doing the first part of the sales process to take a long list and make it into a short list of people that might actually be interested to do some business.
Okay.
We also do a lot of work around trade shows. So between us last year, we went to 10 international trade shows with Finnish companies. We also try and get the companies to do some work before the show to prepare for it, to get the most out of that
Out
show.
of this show, yeah.
Yeah, for contacting people, letting them know, hey, we're going to be at this show and we'd like to meet with you, or would you like to come and see our products, that kind of thing. And then organising their work while they're at the show, so that when they get home afterwards, they have a big, or like a big folder full of all the contacts, and then doing the
They
follow-up
cannot try to contact, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we also do the training. So the training, like preparing to export training one day, sales pitch workshop, whatever situation you need some sort of sales presentation. We have a training day about going to trade shows. We have training about developing your international reseller network. And these are all trainings that the Xport team has put together based on our past experience.
You were talking about that Amazon seller.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you deal with Amazon seller?
Well, we started offering this service about 5 years ago, and at that time, Finnish companies couldn't register to sell on Amazon. So we, using my connections back in the UK, we set up a UK company and we registered that as the Amazon seller, and then we used that account to get Finnish products selling on Amazon. Nowadays, Finnish companies can sell, so we sort of changed the focus of our service. We don't sell products anymore. It wasn't really enough profit in there for us.
Okay, but that at the time you sold the products, do you get the products like physically, or you just sell online? And the company will ship?
Yeah, so that we had an agreement with our Finnish suppliers.
Yes.
They would send a box or a pallet of stock.
Yeah, if you get an order, you forward to the company.
Actually, Amazon has this service called Fulfillment by Amazon.
Yes.
So we would store products in Amazon's warehouse.
Yes.
And they would then fulfill the orders. So it made it a lot easier. There was less shipping.
They are responsible for the if it is exporting the products to any part of the world is basically Amazon.
And our suppliers just shipped it to one of Amazon's warehouses.
Okay, like what you need to do is place order because the goods are with Amazon.
The rest of work.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. They charge for that, but it can be. So like I said, we stopped selling, but now what we do is help Finnish companies set up their products on Amazon. So at the moment, we've just finished one. It's a company from Seinäjoki selling this percussion instrument. It's like a drum. It's a bit like a cajon drum, but it's a Finnish type. It's got some Finnish engineering to this kind of traditional cajon drum, and we've helped him set it up, and now he's selling his products on Amazon. So what we're now doing is using our experience and understanding of how Amazon works to write the product pages, to do the setup, to help them troubleshoot their way through to now my products are selling. Okay, what do I do?
All right, thank you so much.
One thing that you said, you are doing your marketing on Google Advertise.
Yeah.
So what are your key terms that people can find your company?
Okay, that's interesting. The thing that we focus on is not our services, but there's quite a few different programs that are available to Finnish companies to get some kind of funding, to get some support. So we try and use those the names of those fundings, because that's what people might be searching for.
So that it will be available for the Finnish companies, maybe like small enterprises can find loan.
Yeah, exactly.
Like where can they get loan?
If somebody is searching, I don't really want to give the search terms because obviously that's something we're competing on. But if they're looking for, I don't know, export funding for Finland, we are then competing on that. So that, and we've had some times where people have phoned us and they think they're contacting the kind of government organisation that provides this funding, but we're at the top of the ranking, and that's quite important for us.
Okay.
And I think one other thing that's worth mentioning anyway is that this year is we've been going 5 years, and this year in Seinioki there was organised this Etelapohjanmaa Vientipäivä, so Xport Day, Vientipäivä, Xport Day, and it was a one-day seminar. The morning had some guest speakers. One was a Finnish guy who's on TV here. You know this TV show like Shark Tank or whatever it's called in different countries, where people come and pitch their business idea and there's a panel of people. So it was a guy from the Finnish version of that came and he was the main speaker. But then there were also some local companies sharing their experience of exporting. Then in the afternoon there were 5 workshops where the people that attended could go around these workshops and just have a bit better understanding of what they need to do to export. And that was organised by Business Finland, which is basically Finnish government. Etelä-Pohjanmaa Kauppakamari, the Chamber of Commerce. And
Finnish
us.
Chamber of Commerce. And
really? Yeah, so it's quite
a big company.
No, I think we're just sort of pushing our profile up there. We're not big. There's only 3 of us here. There's only 3 full-timers working here. So for us to be involved in organising something with those other organisations, I think is really something. And we've had some really positive feedback from that. The idea was to show people, to get together all of these organisations, and actually some of our competitors were there. There's not that much direct competition, but there are companies from different towns offering similar services. But we got them all together. They could meet companies, and it sort of positioned us, I think, at the middle of the exporting scene, at least around here. Anyway, I hope so. And we've already had. We're in discussions with a couple of companies that were at that event about maybe doing some work with them. Also, people we've worked with before came along to that, so there's contact again with them.
Like make them understand that we've worked with them, and this was really helpful.
So it was a sales and marketing day. You know, we were at the middle of everything that was going on that day. People were very aware of us, and also we got some sales out of it, hopefully at the end as well. None of that's directly helpful for your course, and I'm sorry about that.
But the information also is important because there are a lot of information with this.
Our course.
So because right now, if I'm embarking on a sporting business in Finland, at least now I have idea that there is a place I can find some information like consultancy, where I can consult, like how can I do this kind of thing. So it's also important.
What we found, like your idea is good if you think that in Nigeria there's a market for parts from here.
Auto parts is a big market in Nigeria.
Nigeria is a big country.
It's a big market.
Is it 190 million people living there?
Yeah, that's the statistics, but I know Nigeria is more than 200 million.
Right, okay.
Right now.
Okay. Yeah.
But now they said it's 197 or something, but we've not done census since 1996.
Know the real
okay.
But I know that it's
and government doesn't want to reveal this real population. And same in our country also, that we have 163 million people, but we have really more than that.
More than that, yeah.
One thing, I mean, when you finish your course, do you plan to go back to Nigeria or back to Bangladesh, or do you think about staying here?
I think about staying here.
Okay.
Yes, me too.
For me, I plan to stay here. I establish the company, then I try to see how the company can do exporting.
I was involved in this project that was going on last year. I got involved towards the end when they this project was called Promotion of Immigrant Entrepreneurs. So and it was run by this guy from Romania, and he was trying to find ways to help to sort of find out what does this region need for how can it somehow interact better with people from all the different countries that are around living in here, and helping also the organisations and companies understand how many people are living here, because I think a lot of Finns don't really understand that. And one thing that came out of this is that there are. I'll send you guys. I'll send you a link. After this, of a video that I made with this guy, just a conversation. But I think you might find it interesting. There's a lot of companies that are available to buy. So instead of starting a new company, and these are not failing companies, but they're companies where
they're startup companies, but
no, existing companies.
Existing, but they actually someone can buy.
Yeah, because the owner is getting old and he doesn't have someone to take over
to continue.
So they're not failing companies. They just need someone to keep them going. It's something to bear in mind. It's something to think about. We had a guy doing. He's from Yemen, and he's studying Finnish at the moment, and he was doing some short work placement with us 2 days a week. And he's got so many ideas; they're just like pouring out of his head. He wants to make something for himself here, and maybe I can do food, or maybe I can import coffee from Yemen. And then the other day he heard this conversation about about buying a business, and he's like, maybe that's the easier way. I'm taking something that already exists and I just continue with it. So I don't know. It's worth.
Because you may not be going through the process of registration, since it's a registered company. Just like you are continuing.
Yeah, there's obviously some admin.
Yes.
But, I will send you this video, because I think you might find it interesting.
Yes, it sounds interesting, because if there are existing business, we just can buy that business
and continue with.
There might even be something kind of in the industry that you're.
It could be like, for instance, I can find something that have to do with like what I tried to do also.
I was just thinking about to say, like, there could be a company that's involved in car parts.
Yes.
And you come along and say, okay, here's the existing business, and by the way, we could also start shipping
it.
Then you're not starting completely from zero.
The scratch.
Right.
And because it's difficult, isn't it? You come. So the reason I'm here in Xport, I had a job. I was working for a UK company. I was selling in the Nordic area, living at home here, perfect. And then I lost my job, and then I had to find something to do.
Of course. Yeah.
And it's like, what can I do? I don't know what I can do. This is me. I do this kind of account management work, and can I help Finnish companies do that? And that's what led me to start Xport. If I had known that there were companies, maybe I would have found a company and done that. I didn't know about it. So you might be the same and have lots of ideas and think, how do I make this happen?
Yeah, I know one guy. He's also a businessman here in Tampere, but he has a lot of ideas, and one of his ideas that he wants to make a business. I mean, register the business, and everything is ready, and he wants to sell that ready-made business to another.
He hand over, establish a business, then sell it.
Okay. That is one kind of business.
Interesting.
Wow.
He'll set up everything.
Set up a business, then
he'll sell it to another package.
And that's fine, but that sounds that's like startup land,
Yeah,
isn't it?
like
You know,
you
that's,
start up, and that means you just need to leave to start up another one.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But the and that's kind of the kind of dream, isn't it? That's what all these startups in Silicon Valley are doing. They're starting companies hoping to be bought. But it's possible that you could find an existing company, improve it, maybe coming in with you know, if the owner is old and wants to retire, maybe you come in with fresh ideas, a more modern way of doing business, and improve it. Maybe then you can sell it. Maybe there's something to think about there. To me, this is a really new and interesting kind of way for
of course.
people like us. How different are we three? But we're all immigrants to Finland. Yeah. So and it's, I guess, the country you come from brings different challenges when you're settling into Finland. But it's still, I found it really difficult to get anyone to take me seriously or to even give me an interview. And I had good experience, and that experience is what I'm now selling to companies. But I couldn't get anyone to even give me an interview. So in some ways, I kind of understand that situation. It's not easy, but there is more and more help out there, I guess, of course. And it's something to think about anyway. While we're talking, Prince, there's no point in me. If you're happy to talk about you, with Munchi.
Of course, but
maybe
in the conversation. Thank you so much for this interview.
No worries. I hope it's useful.
It's almost half an hour interview.
Okay,
Hey, we can.